Hey there, Steve again. So, what you can see behind me is I've picked up a bunch of walnut that I often confuse with maple. I'm not sure why, but I do. But it's walnut. And I got a steal. Somebody posted on Facebook Marketplace that they were selling a tree they had cut down back in January. And so I offered them $50 and they're going to give me the whole tree. So, started off with one load. I'm going to go back tomorrow and get some more. So, I'm going to take some time and show you guys what I'm going to do to cut and make some blanks out of this and see what we can do. So on the way back, my wife had an idea and she suggested that I sell these bowl blanks because I don't have the storage space to store all the logs. So we went and stopped at Home Depot on the way back, making sure we're using our face masks for public safety and such. But so I picked myself up this Homelight 16-inch, I don't know, like 5/8 horsepower, 12 amp chainsaw. And we just got to do a little modification to it real quick and then we'll get cutting. So this comes with a safety that you see here, which would prohibit you from cutting something shorter than or longer than 16 inches. So what I'm going to cut today is going to be a little bit longer than 16, so I got to fix that. So we're going to go ahead and remove it using a 5/16 inch socket, and then we're going to start cutting up. Pretty straightforward, just pull it right. Okay, so there's actually more than two methods, but two methods I'm going to use today is using this circle jig I got off Amazon, maybe 12-15 bucks, and it goes out to 10 inches. Be good enough for some of the work today, but not all of it. And then for the ones that are too long, I'm going to use this 550 cord. I cut it about 2 feet. I'm going to take the individual strands out. And then from here, what I'm going to do is just going to take a single strand, and when it comes time to measure, I'm going to put a screw in the wood, wrap it around, and I'm just going to make a circle using this. So we'll go demonstrate both those eventually today. Always make sure to stay hydrated. With water, by the way, not alcohol. Also, you want to make sure that you have some eye protection. Last thing you want is for some wood to come up and smack you in the eyeball and really mess you up. The rest of your body can handle it, but your eyeballs probably can't. And of course I have a black permanent marker, which I think we're going to find out isn't going to work too well on a brown walnut. But we'll give it a shot. Alright. So first things first, I'm gonna hit this little guy first and see how it turns out. I'm certain you've watched a plethora of videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, in the case of this, we're going to start by cutting the pith out. With something like this, we probably wouldn't start with that. We'd probably start by cutting this lengthwise, but we'll demonstrate probably both. Now you have two considerations or two ways you could do this, right? So you can go, here's the end grain. Actually, I'm going to start by cutting this off so I can get a better look. Oh yeah, that's real nice. That's some good walnut. Sweet. So, let's see. One, this is not a straight cut, but that's okay. What we're going to do is, let's see, go about here. We got a good amount of sapwood here. I'll cut it about, well, you'll see. Sometimes you got to stop and pull out some of these long shavings. Otherwise, you'll really get it bound up. Perfect. Okay, so lots got stuck in there. And always make sure that you're keeping your bar and chain oil topped off, or you got enough in there so it's not going to run dry. So there you go. That's beautiful. You can see the heartwood here. Nice dark brown color. I actually think the black permanent marker will show up fine on there. We're going to go ahead and cut the other side of this. Now, basically I've got a old log down here cut to about maybe a foot, and I've just created notches in it, so that's why it's sitting there just fine. Other things you could do after you cut a few pieces, you could just notch something in there to actually hold it up. That'd be fine back here. Or, I mean, you could make an apparatus. There's about a bajillion things you could do here. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the other side off. So, there's the other piece. That'll make a really nice bowl, or whatever else you'd like to make to it. And then here's the pith. And what we're going to do here, I think the true quarter sawn piece would be to cut on either side of the pith, and then make some usable pieces of what sometimes I guess would be 2x4s, 2x6s, or other pieces of wood. So let's go ahead and do that. Notice how I had all these nice fine long shavings. Watch the difference here. Okay, that was one piece. You notice how much finer that was. It's basically dust. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side laying down. It's really cool wood. It's kind of purple on the end where it dried out a little bit. It's beautiful. Perfect. Alright, so got a block here we could do a spindle turning out of. Cool. Another one here. That'll look pretty nice. We could, I don't know, make some pen blanks out of that, I guess. One thing I don't have is a bandsaw. That'd be pretty nice here. So, and then this is the pith. Not really a whole lot you're going to do with this, unless you have some ideas. Go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know. I'd love to make use of all the piss I'm about to throw away or burn. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to mark the circle on these and start cutting them out. So looks like about a 10 inch is going to be the biggest I'm going to get out of this. So no point in using a string right now. So what I want to do is I want to get a good distribution. One, I want to make sure that it's the depth on both sides are as decent as possible. Here you can see so much easier slope here than over here. So unfortunately, when you turn this, you're going to hit a lot of air initially on the backside. But you make a live edge bowl out of this, it'd be pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to balance the heartwood and the sapwood. And I'm going to start on the edge here. This edge has got a nick in there, so I only want to cut one. I want to reduce the amount of cutting possible. And we're at the 5.5. Okay, looks good. And we'll mark it up. Perfect. So now we have a circle. We're going to go ahead and cut that. A couple notes. You'll see I do things the way you probably wouldn't want to by using my foot to stabilize it. So be safe. Alright, sweet. You're able to keep some pretty good bark on there as well. It's cut up pretty round. It's not going to balance perfectly because the difference in thickness from here to here. But that's what big lace are for, right? So, alright. I'm going to keep on cutting some up. Nice. Same deal on this one. A little less thin here than it is over here. You notice the bark goes almost down. Over here it does not. So it'll be another one that'll be cleaned up on a big lathe. And hopefully you got your lathe, if you got a piece of wood like this, pretty weighted down so it's not going to wobble too much. So, sweet. Alright, on to some more. hammer jammer. This bad boy is probably, I don't know, 100 pounds, maybe more. Very wet on the bottom. That's where we're sitting. Kind of dry at the top, you can see. So I'm going to cut this off so we can get this chucking out of here. Obviously with these I'm going to go anchor seal them after I'm done cutting. So it looks to me, again, you know, we could use a tape measure. There's a bunch of things we could do here. But if we just take some measurements here, we're not looking to know the size, just to compare. So yay, yeah, it's a decently circle. And let's see, good height. So it's basically, its diameter is approximately the same as its height. So we want to be careful here not to cut too much off, because then we're going to find that we're not going to have the best chunk of wood to make a bowl. I think the chainsaw should be able to go through all this. I don't think it's bigger than 16 inches either. So just make sure to go down this way, as there's a little bit of it'll just be a little better. Hey! Ooh. Wow, that's heavy. And let's do it. Wow, that's pretty cool. So as you can see here, again, so this is the inside, this is the outside. Checking is not that bad. It looks like it's gone, I don't know, not even an inch. It seems to dissipate on the fresh side. Just look at that color. I'm not really sure. I gotta look into this. Here's the here's the hardwood, sapwood here, and again, you've got the coloring coming out into the sapwood. That's really cool. All right, now again, we want to get the best pith orientation here. This looks pretty freaking round. So I think I'm just going to cut straight down. That's pretty great. Flip it around so I can see it a little bit better. You can have the tail end. So another option too here, we're not going to use it, but you can, there's a little catch point on the ruler, or the tape measure, and you can actually put that on the head of the screw and circle it around. That's what I did in my last video. You could do that here as well, but I want to try something else out. So we're at 15 inches by 14, so 7 this way, perfect. 15, 7.5, I got to move it just shy of there. So let's see how much we got. Again, we're trying to make it equal amount of heartwood and sapwood. So we're at 4 3/4 and 4 3/4. I'm actually going to leave it there. So here we go. I'm just going to create a loop on this end. Simply tie a knot. Bam. There we go. I'm gonna put this in here a little bit deeper so we get the smooth part of the shaft. And then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna clean off the top. I see I'm gonna go about yonder, actually. So all you gotta do is, well, don't pop it off like that. Take your permanent marker. Make sure nobody's coming up and making your dog jump after them. And then I'm going to figure out, okay, so approximately here. So all I'm going to do then is I'm going to wrap this around here, and that's going to hold it in place. And bam! Check it out. Perfect circle maker. God, I'm good. don't have any 550 cord, I would highly recommend you pick yourself up some. It's really cheap and it's got a ton of uses. This is just one example. Sweet. Take the screw out. Stump of a little tiny tree my wife cut down. Screw it in there to hold it. Cool. As you can see, we got a big old circle here. So that's cool. What is that again? 14 inches, I think I said? Wow, that barely fits on my lathe. And then what's really cool here, we've got some really great grain. Again, you got the purple just coming out there. I don't know if that's spalting from the fungus or I don't know. I got to do some research there. But it should be pretty even when you turn it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that real quick. And I think that'll be it for what I'm going to do cutting. Next thing I'm going to do is move over and show you just sealing it real quick with anchor seal and just putting it away. All right. Check it out. That's huge. It's probably, you know, if I were to make it a equal blank and cut it down to size everywhere, you'd probably get about 2.5, 3 inches by 12 inches from that, I guess. All right. Okay, actually I thought I was going to do the anchor seal part a little somewhere else, but nope. It's nice and sunny here. This is good. Alright, so this is pretty straightforward. I don't even know why I'm doing a video on it, to be honest with you. So anchor seal is emulsified wax and I believe water. I get mine off Amazon. It's pretty cheap. You could probably figure out a way to make this from home, but I think it's like maybe 20 bucks a gallon. I've had this for like 5 months and it's a gift that keeps giving. So I mean, if you really want to go make your own or, you know, get it cheaper, you know, let me know what you find. But right now it's pretty convenient to, you know, click a couple buttons and get it delivered quite easy. So I got another gallon sitting over there ready to go. So it's just white, looks like white paint kind of. This maybe a little more liquid. So I'm not going to demonstrate doing them all because I mean it's a pretty straightforward process. What I recommend, depending on how long you're going to keep it at least and hold on to it, you want to do every side of it. So this could prevent, you know, if you do the bark as well, it'll slow the dry of the bark, and then maybe you'll get a little more luck using the bark if you want a live edge bowl, for example. But lather that on there, nice and thick. I don't know why, but our dog really likes this stuff. Probably not a good idea to have dogs eat it or lick it or drink it, whatever you want to call. Right now it's liquid, so I surmise that if it's not exposed to air that's drier than itself, it's probably not much to hurt the dog, but still probably not the best thing. I wouldn't probably want to be eating this. Cool. Again, this is just pretty straightforward, no scientific method here. Just make sure you observe every nook and cranny filled with this stuff. It goes, you know, I don't want to say it in a manner of, hey, don't use it, or don't use it lavishly, but I mean, it goes a long way. Usually I do this over on my, so I'm in a townhome, and I've got a little cement area out the back door. So I usually do it right out there, and then I get a little, you know, get a little wax on the cement, no big deal. Got a little table that I made with 2x4s, works just fine. But then I store it up on there for a little bit, let it kind of dry, and then I'll bring it inside with the idea that I don't want it to sit outside and continue to change temperature rapidly. So in this case, I actually don't think this is really thick bark. I think it's probably the first time I've done this actually with walnut like this, so I don't actually think I need to do the bark, but I guess time will tell. So, I mean, pretty simple. That's how you anchor seal 1-year blanks. So, cool. All right.